Liberty is not a church, it's not a political organization, and it's not a business. It's a university, and our mission is training champions for Christ. In the academic year that just ended, 92,000 enrolled in Liberty University Online. It has allowed us to improve our residential program in ways that we thought would take generations to complete.
It's interesting that when most people think of their faith, or they think of Christian education, they think you've got your faith in one box, or Christian education in one box, and you've got everything else. You've got your Christian life, and then you have your vocation. But one thing that's really unique about Liberty is we see the integration of all of it. We believe it's all spiritual. We believe that whatever you do, you ought to do for the glory of God, like the Apostle Paul said. And so that's why our founders founded a liberal arts university, not a Bible school, because we don't believe that commitment to Christ and professional excellence are mutually exclusive. We believe they can coexist. This is one of the reasons why we're working to build a university with all the programs and facilities and athletics of any major state school. One thing is it draws students in, so they have the full college experience, but they don't have to do it in an environment that breaks down their faith, but an environment that builds up their faith. But then secondarily, it prepares these students to enter the real world, because the real world is a world that is a world of doctors and lawyers and nurses and educators and athletes. It's a world that isn't a world of churches and missionaries and Bible studies. That might be a component of it, but you live far more of your life within a secular context than you do in an inherently spiritual context. But what we're working on here is to show people how to take their spirituality from the basketball court to the pew, to take it from the football field to the mission field in another part of the world. And so this university seeks to have our faith at the heart of it, and we seek to be world-class at what we do.
The growth in the recent years at Liberty has brought more students to the university, and I've been told that the #1 major among the freshman class this year is nursing. So it's a win-win situation. Liberty brings more students in, and many students come in because of nursing.
At no moment in the history of higher education has a university grown as rapidly as this university has grown. And at no moment in the history of higher education has a university been as uniquely Christian as this university is, with a full liberal arts vision that goes from the student studying in the most secular field to the one studying theology or pastoral ministry or anything like that. And so I think that when we talk about Liberty University being a part of changing the world we're living in, I mean, we're not talking in theoretical terms. I mean, it's actually happening over and over and over again.
So I'll stand in trust, I'll stand in faith, I will not be shaken.
Yeah, originally, the School of Music was two separate departments. We had the Department of Music and Humanities, and then we had the Department of Music and Worship. And we combined them together because, first of all, by combining our efforts, we were able to utilize one great and very efficient and stunning faculty. Secondly, we were able to combine our resources together, and then we were able to combine our facilities. And in having a facility together, we were able to concentrate better and I think more efficiently on the equipping and the training of those students that come to Liberty University.
Well, the athletic department plays a big role in helping our student athletes to grow both academically and both spiritually. From an academic perspective, we have 8 full-time academic staff, and we put great emphasis on that, and our role is to allow these student athletes to graduate, and our student athletes do graduate at a greater percentage and a higher rate than the regular student body. So we put a lot of time and effort into that, and it's very important for us.
In nursing, there are lots of different areas you can go into, and one of the things that's very popular with students is the critical care area. So this would be intensive care, emergency room, things like that. We had already had a critical care certificate program for students who were interested in adult care. And this means that they get extra classwork, extra clinical, and they are certified for advanced life support by the time they graduate. And so they are just in high demand at medical centers everywhere.
We actually became a School of Music in September of 2012. And since then, we've taken a great deal of time to improve our offerings, in particular our curriculum. We took, on the side of the Center for Music and the Performing Arts, we took all these different Bachelor of Music degrees and combined them in some cases and eliminated in other cases to create 6 new Bachelor of Performance degrees. They're Bachelor of Performance in Guitar, in voice and string, in percussion and brass and woodwind, and then a Bachelor of Music in piano, and then a whole 2 series degrees of a Bachelor of Music in Music Education. We call them a Bachelor of Music in Choral Music and a Bachelor of Music in Instrumental Music, but they have an emphasis in music education. And then we finally created a new Bachelor of Arts degree in music so that a student who wants to get a liberal arts degree can do so but still major in music. On the other area, this is the area that was the Center for Music and Worship, we took 5 areas that are strategic to that particular degree and made them Bachelor of Music degrees. And they include a Bachelor, now we have a Bachelor of Music in Songwriting, a Bachelor of Music in Artist Development, a Bachelor of Music degree in Music and World Cultural, which is ethnomusicology, or we call it, that's our degree where we train musicians as missionaries. And then we have a new degree called the Bachelor of Music in Leadership Communication. This is specific to young men and women that want to go and serve as the director of a music organization. And then finally, a Bachelor of Music in Worship Studies. We also introduced this past year a new Bachelor of Science degree in Music and Worship with a concentration in cinematic arts. And finally, we've introduced a new degree in 2 areas. And it's the MA in Music and Worship that deployed this past December. And we have a brand new degree that deploys this fall. It's a Master of Arts in Music Education.
So I think Liberty's success is great leadership and a great vision. Our founder, our current chancellor have led this university to innovate for the unique challenges and opportunities of our time, but to not innovate our mission, because that's who we are.
The Student Leadership Program at Liberty, I think it's one of the best things about Liberty. It's probably one of the most important aspects because the students really get to go minister to people who actually care. So basically, going from the bottom to the top, it starts with the prayer leaders. And what they do is they meet with a group of 5 or 6 students once a week on Tuesday nights after hall meeting. And they basically give a Bible study and take prayer requests and spend time in prayer. They have the most vital position on campus as far as ministry goes because they're the ones out there on the front lines ministering to each student in their group specifically, and they have a small group of guys that they can constantly just interact with.
Our coaches are Christian coaches. They're asked to lead the team spiritually. They have prayer with them before and after practices. They have devotions. With the student athletes, we have a student athlete convo that we do 4 times a year. And all of our student athletes come together, and our track team has a praise band, and they lead us in worship. And then we have different speakers coming in and giving great messages and words to our student athletes. And so both those are very important, and it's a big reason why these student athletes are choosing Liberty.
Almost all of us would say that God has blown our minds. He has done something exceeding and abundantly above and beyond what we even imagine, much less ask for. Now, even our founder, Jerry Falwell, Sr., who was a great visionary, his big vision was for 50,000 students. And yet here we are on a campus stewarded now by his son, Jerry Falwell Jr., with over 100,000 students. I mean, that's something that only God could do.